So when working with projectiles, it's quite useful to split velocities into components. So we can imagine that we have a particle projected at a velocity of u, and we know it's at an angle of alpha to the horizontal. Well, that's not amazingly useful because we tend to work with the horizontal direction, x, and the vertical direction, y. So you can see the notation here. This is the x component or the horizontal component of u. This is the y component or the vertical component of u. So how could we work them out? Well, it's going to use SOHCAHTOA. We've got a right angle triangle. That's right angled there. We know this is alpha. We know this is u. So this side, how would we work it out? Well, we would do u sine alpha, and then we would do u cos alpha for this side. So we now know uy, so the y component of u is u sine alpha, and ux is u cos alpha. So we can also find maximum heights and maximum velocities when talking about projectiles. So if you have an equation for displacement, we could differentiate it. So if we differentiate displacement, which is s, with respect to time, you get v. You then set that equal to 0 and solve it. That gives you the point where it's either a maximum or a minimum. To figure out whether it is max or min, we would then differentiate the resultant equation again, and that will give you a in this case, because the rate of change of velocity is acceleration. Set that, well, sub in the value that you have. So let's say you get the value of x here, you would sub in x into here, and whether if it's greater than 0, that's a minimum. If it's less than 0, that's a maximum. Similarly, you can find maximum or minimum velocities. So if you differentiate v with respect to t, that gets you a, because that's a is the rate of change of velocity. Set that equal to 0 and solve, because of course if the rate of change of velocity, the acceleration is 0, then either it's a turning point in the velocity or it's not going to accelerate anymore or decelerate anymore, if you see what I mean. So it's a maximum or a min. And then if you differentiate a again, and then sub in the value, similarly to what we did in the second step above. So sub in the value. If it's greater than 0, that's a min. If it's less than 0, it's a max.